we're going to start this third week by having you do an exercise that will check whether you actually understood what you were supposed to learn last week. To do so, we're going to introduce you to a stick figure named Timmy 2-space. And we're going to use linear transformations to change Timmy into different shapes. This is an activity that was suggested to us by a colleague of ours, Professor Alan Klein. Okay, so how does this work? Well, think of matrix A as transforming a vector x into a new vector y. That's how matrix A represents a linear transformation. Now you could look at a vector, so that would be our vector x, and we could look at how that transforms into a vector y, the red vector on the right. And then we could do that for another vector, and another vector, and another vector. But it becomes a little easier to see what's going on if those vectors point to a picture that is then transformed. So in this particular case, on the left, you see a stick figure, who we are going to call Timmy 2-space. It's the dark blue thin stick figure. And then we also see a light blue figure that we're going to call the target, into which we would like to transform Timmy. So on the left, we have arrows to various points that define Timmy. And on the right, we have arrows to the corresponding points on the target. And the question now becomes, what matrix A will transform Timmy into the target? Okay, so if you start up Firefox or Chrome, then you can either click on the link in the homework, or you can open the file that you downloaded as part of the laugh spring 2015.zip file, and when you then unzip that, you got a bunch of subdirectories, maybe not all of these, but anyway, one of them is the subdirectory Timmy, and if you click on index.html in that particular subdirectory, then you see this right here. Okay, now I like to have a grid there. So the purpose of the game now is to take Timmy into its ghost. And I know a little bit about how to transform Timmy. So up here in the top left corner, I'm going to enter the matrix 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay, 1, 0 for the first column, 1, 1 for the second column. And if I then click on Timmy, I notice that indeed Timmy is transformed to the target. Had I put in the identity matrix and tried to transform Timmy, I would have noticed that Timmy didn't transform at all. Had I put a 1 down here and I hit Timmy, Timmy would have transformed, but not into the target. So you may be tempted to just play with this, but what we really want you to do is to think deeply about how you can determine a matrix, and you were taught that in week number 2, and then apply that knowledge to this little game. Once you've figured out what a matrix is, then you can click on next target and move on. If you have trouble with this exercise, go to the next video and we give a hint as to how to approach this.